Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Going to keep this straightforward, but there is a lot of history here. I, 25 female, have a stepsister, 26 female, and 2 younger siblings from our parents' marriage, meaning they are technically my half-siblings, if you want to use that term. I was 7 when my mom married her dad. From day one, she despised me for some reason. She rejected everything I did to try and get closer with her. She was mean, cruel, and didn't care what anyone said. Her dad did everything he could to help things, and for a while, she actually stopped coming because of how she treated me. She tried to turn our siblings against me and would tell them I wasn't their real sister and everything you can think of. She even went out of her way to be mean in school and make it clear I wasn't her sister and never would be. It has been 4 years since I last saw her, and that was a very brief appearance before I bowed. She has 4 kids now and is a single mom. She lost her job and her house recently, and our parents took her in. Apparently things are too cramped there and she wants me to help her out. She told me I could let them live there and I could stay with our parents for a while. She wanted me to buy her clothes and stuff too. I told her no. I told her she doesn't want anything to do with me, and she treated me like crap ever since our parents got married, and that she still doesn't want me having anything to do with her kids, which was a thing when she had her oldest and lived with us for a while when she was 16 and I was 15. I'm not going to help her out to get treated like crap again. I told her she's on her own and should be glad our parents are willing to help. Am I the a-hole? Information. She had her oldest when she was 16 and told me to never touch, look at, or speak to her child. And I was nothing to her child. And she made sure I never got close to her oldest. The last time I saw her, she got pissed because I helped one of her kids who had fallen over. She told her child I wasn't someone to talk to and used a lot of the same insults she had back in our childhood. I left because it was her family, my stepdad's family, thing, and I knew she would only keep the crap up if I stayed. So I don't have enough experience with her as a mom to really answer what she's like as one. She would fight my being her children's aunt. I'm not allowed anything to do with her kids ever. My mom and stepdad really dislike her attitude. They had her in therapy as a kid and would punish her. But it didn't help at all, and that was why she ended up living with just her mom for a few years. They took her back in because her mom kicked her out for getting pregnant and he didn't want to see her or the baby in foster care. But he made it clear she would not get more support once she turned 18 if she treated me that way again, and he stayed pretty much true to that until they were out on the street and his grandkids were affected by it. I can't blame him. No matter what, she is his daughter and they are his grandkids. My mom has told me things have been tense at their house and I would believe that. The thing is, she wouldn't want to live with me, even if it did mean more space. She would want it all to herself. She wants to live in my house temporarily for space, but does not want to live with me or for her kids to live with me. Not the a-hole. This is astonishing. She let you know you were no part of her family for many years in the most unpleasant manner possible. On what planet would she then imagine you would then owe her anything? Never mind to do any favor for her out of love or family. I just don't understand how she would even think this was an option. She would be more justified asking a perfect stranger to do this, as at least she wouldn't have a decades-long back history of persecuting that stranger. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole, but let me get this straight. She didn't want anything to do with you, not to even touch her kids when they fall over. But she's demanding for you to move out of your place and into your parents'. She wants you to move back in with your parents so she can live in your home. This is an insane request, even under the best circumstances. She doesn't even like you. You don't have to let her down gently to protect the relationship. She's entitled and deserves no help from you. I'm assuming you have your own home, since she was essentially demanding that you move in with your parents while she moves into your place. Do not give her anything. Your parents have no say in this. She's treated you like shit for years, and now she's in the dumps. You're right. She's lucky your parents decided to help her out instead of living on the streets. It never stops to amaze me how people assume they have the right to other people's lives. Entitlement is never a pretty sight. How old are her children, and is there social services she can apply for? A lot of churches have a day when everything is free: clothes, shoes, purses, and coats. I wonder if she would try any of these things or only wants everything bright and new handed to her. I'm glad you have your mother and stepdad for support. Stepsisters or stepdad's family should open their homes up to 4 kids and 1 immature parent. Story 2. My wife, 52 female, and I, 51 male, recently partly retired with 4 million in savings, 1 million of which is our home. I am a systems engineer and my wife was an RN. I still work part-time, contract, but less than 20 hours a week. And my wife is fully retired. We are very frugal people and try to save where we can. I've also made it clear to my wife to never tell my family we have money and to pretend that we are dead broke. Her family knows we do well, but they never ask for money. My family won't stop asking for money. My mom, dad, and brother are terrible with money. My dad and brother both work oil and gas, which results in a few fat years of tons of money coming in, followed by with layoffs. Not saying the layoffs are their fault, but they have never saved anything, so they run up credit cards to pay for everything. My parents have borrowed against their house so many times. They effectively haven't paid anything towards the principal, and they have had that house for 35 years. They should be retired but can't, and my dad recently had to go back to work as a school bus driver because they have so much debt and no money. My brother inherited their spending issues and has his own alcohol struggles. He's currently going through his 2nd divorce. I didn't tell my son not to tell his grandparents we recently retired, and they found out from him recently and have been calling me livid because we pretended we were broke for years. But clearly if we can retire, we have savings. I didn't tell them because I know they would just ask for money constantly. They have on several occasions when we went on vacation, and they found out via Facebook. We have since learned not to post, and came knocking for money. We lied and told them we want some money but had spent it all on the vacation. Am I obligated to help them? I don't feel so because both my parents and brother made lots over their career. But my dad is in his 70s and still working. I am sure they are contacting me to ask for money, but am I the a-hole if I continue to pretend I have none? Not sure how I'm going to do that now that they know we are semi-retired. OP, that money that your family thinks they're entitled to is for you and your wife's retirement. You saved responsibly and prepared for your future. Someone else's family's emergency and lifetime of mistakes is not your responsibility or obligation, even if they're family. They are not entitled to it. They're asking incessantly for money now, and that will not stop if you were to give in and help them financially. It very well could make it worse. They will keep asking for money either way. Enjoy everything you and your wife worked for and stand your ground. Now for some comments. First off, congratulations and massive kudos to you on being able to retire so early. You are living my dream. Secondly, not the a-hole. There's nothing more nerve-wracking than greedy relatives asking to borrow money. They did this to themselves. You shouldn't be responsible for their stupid decisions. Not the a-hole. Look, I'm all for helping out family. I have helped my sisters in the past. Because 1, their financial conditions were no fault of their own. 2, they never asked. I offered. And 3, they made it up how they could. One paid me back, and the other helped me with something she's skilled at. Your parents have pissed away their money, and so has your brother. The money you would give them would do nothing to actually improve their situation because they would piss it away again. You don't owe them shit. Their poor decision-making does not mean you should not get to have this really wonderful early retirement with your wife, which you earned. Not the a-hole. I'm in a similar situation. I grew up very poor, and my parents are now flooded with credit card debt in their 50s from poor choices. Meanwhile, my husband and I are military family and fairly comfortable with a small nest egg that we got from buying and then selling a house in one of the towns we were stationed in. Early on, my mom would ask to borrow money, but it only took about 2 times of her asking before I made it very clear that I loved her. But we were not a bank, and I was not going to pay for her poor financial choices as an adult, like I had as a kid. I think it sunk in for her when I asked her, "Do you want me to correct your mistakes now or not make the same ones for your grandchildren?" Story 3. My sister is 24 years old and moved back home a few months ago after a divorce with her husband. She has 3 kids. The oldest is 4 and the other 2 are twins, and both turned 2 in 3 months. Now, ever since she has moved back, there has been that expectation that I, 16 male, will watch them from time to time, which I have quite bluntly declined to do. My sister kept trying though, like getting up, putting her coat on, grabbing her handbag and opening the door, saying she's leaving, to which I would reply something like, "When does the babysitter arrive?" Which would then spark an argument about me watching them. You get the picture. My go-to answer is no. Well, ever since something that we cannot mention happened, this has gotten even worse. She can't go out and she can't bring them to her dad on the weekends, and as such needs to watch them all the time. At first, our parents were playing a more active role in the taking care of them since they are working from home, but they have gotten used to not having to look after kids anymore. I mean, I don't exactly require much looking after anymore. And well, they work from home, so lack the time unless they work less. So now my parents are also telling me I need to be a better brother and uncle and pretty much look after them now and again. No doubt due to my sister stressing everyone out. Now I get it. I love my niece and nephews. My sister is stressed and she is stressing my parents out. So the logical relief here is me. However, I have no clue how to take care of the twins, and I don't want this to be a regular thing either. I'm not their parent after all, and I want to do whatever I want. So I told her as a compromise that if she asked me well in advance, I would be willing to watch my niece, who is 4 years old, for a few hours now and again. This did not go over well, as apparently I should be willing to spend time with all of them, and sometimes she needs someone to look after them straight away, as there are no babysitters right now. I shot back by pointing out that it is her problem and she chose to have kids. I did not choose to be an unpaid babysitter that led to another fight. So now I'm refusing it altogether. So am I being an a-hole here? Edit. For those who repeat this, I have online school and I work a lot, more due to working part-time at a grocery store. So it is not like I got a load of free time or something. Since this keeps coming up, obviously I interact with them, play with them, read to them and do forth in general. I mean, I figured that would speak for itself. My post is about me not wanting to be left to watch my niece and the twins for several hours while my sister goes and does God knows what. Now for some comments. Everyone sucks here. And I already know this is a controversial opinion here, but my judgment is mainly based on the fact that we're in the middle of an unprecedented global event, meaning that you most likely really can't find another sitter. Any other time, I would say she sucks for expecting you to watch her kids. She still sucks for the whole packing up to leave and mentioning on the way out that she doesn't have a babysitter. That's bullshit. Not the a-hole. I understand your sister's point of view in needing some time without the kids. My husband deployed while our kids were small and had no family around. But that being said, forcing people to look after kids they don't want to look after is miserable for everyone. And her having children did not involve input from you, so you are under no obligation to watch them. I think she's seriously underestimating the kindness of you taking the 4-year-old. When our 3 were small, even having one gone made the workload feel instantly more manageable. Not that we didn't miss the one gone. Not the a-hole. No one in my family as full adults will watch my twins, because even well-behaved twins are a lot to handle. Especially as toddlers. Mine are 5 and my parents still won't take them by themselves. It's a lot to handle taking care of 3 kids, 4 and younger. I get she needs a break, but so does every other parent. You manage even when you're losing it. I have an older son around your age and he refuses to watch the younger siblings because it's just too much. And I respect that I do not push it, and sometimes he offers, so I can leave to go to the store or other essential things. You keep doing you. There's nothing wrong with refusing.